Oh, I'm 17 and I can bench 400. Yeah. All of you can just deadlift a car and throw a rock over the moon and back, and you can run the 40 in 4.1 seconds, right? We all know that because you wrote it down with no profile picture on your stupid account. Coach Greg, and today I will answer the question definitively. Is Sawyer Klatt, hopefully I'm pronouncing it right, natural or is he not natural? Now, you may not have heard of this guy because I honestly didn't until about a week ago. And his name came up a million times, well, not a million, 50 times, when I did a Natty or Not video on David Lade. And the reason is because this guy can deadlift more than David Lade at a younger age. And so one of the reasons I said David Lade wasn't natural was because he was so strong for his size and his skinniness and whatnot. So then a lot of people said, well, this guy is stronger than him, so he must not be natural. There's no way he's natural if he's that strong. So they said, okay, he's deadlifting 700 pounds. He just turned 18. And at 17 years old, he deadlifted 675 pounds. I'm like, well, that sounds extremely suspicious to start with. So I said, yeah, okay, I'm going to do some digging into this guy. So I look at his pictures or in his videos of when he's doing the 675 and 700 deadlift. And all I see is this guy with not a lot of muscle deadlifting a crazy amount of weight. So I'm like, why is he so strong for how small he is? In my mind, I'm seeing this little guy, this tiny guy lifting this weight. Then I keep researching. He is not small, okay? And so I'm going to go in detail as to why I think he's 100% natural. I do not think he's touched any kind of enhancement whatsoever, doesn't need to. And some of you are going to write, yeah, but you said that David Lade did 700, didn't it? Wait, you're wrong. Contradict yourself, you stupid. I get it all the time, and you guys just don't pay attention. It's like, I feel like I'm a university professor speaking to 6-year-olds about math and trying to convince them that 5 plus 5 is 10 and not 6. And it's like the arguments go back and forth and I can't get through to people because they don't even have the intelligence to understand the video in the first place. There are rare guys with great genetics that can lift crazy amounts of weight. This is this guy, okay? Just because I don't think David Lade could do it doesn't mean I don't think anyone else can do it. I'm going to give you the evidence. You decide if you think he's natural or not. I think he's natural. I have no doubts. I just don't see how he's not. Okay, so let's see. So I first watched his 3-year natural transformation from the age 15 to 18. And some of you will be saying, well, yeah, he looks just like David Lade. He went from the skinny guy to this muscular guy. When he was 15, he had not even gone through puberty yet. You can see it in his face. You can see it in his body. It's a prepubescent body. When I was 13, I was bigger than him at 15. Why? I went through puberty at like 11. At 13, I was maxed out, full height. I was actually the second tallest guy in my class for a while in school, after being the second shortest my whole life after my twin, who was always shorter than me, okay? Except for at birth, he was actually taller. Anyway, it doesn't matter. So from age 15 to 18, did he make amazing gains? Yes. Did he make more gains than most people would? Yes. But he's a kid. It's not like he's 20 and he put on like 50 pounds of muscle. When you're a kid going through puberty, you gain a lot. When I went through puberty, I went from 80 pounds to 128 pounds. That's like 50 pounds. It's puberty. I could have not lifted a weight those entire time and still probably put on 35 pounds. It's just puberty. So this kid went through puberty. So when you say, yeah, but he was skinny and now he's big, he went through puberty. If he hadn't touched a weight in his life and started training at 18, he would have a decent build, naturally, just from being genetics, okay? I always look, how did they look when they're younger and how did they progress, and let's see that. And if they have good genetics, they usually should have decent muscle. At 15 years old, for no puberty, he had a decent build. He wasn't some twig, okay? So that tells me good genetics. Then he trains really hard and he focuses on the deadlift a lot. And he gets a good squat and he gets a shitty bench. Not shitty compared to like the world, shitty compared to his other lifts. So I'm going to explain to you why he's so good at the freaking deadlift. Okay, here is why. He has a biomechanical advantage over most people. He does it sumo, widens the stance how I pull, shortens the range of motion, decreases how far the bar has to travel. Less distance travel, more weight can be lifted. Next, long arms. So the longer your arms, the less the bar has to travel. Just think, if my arms were a foot longer, I would only have to move the bar 2 inches because I would be literally starting like this and I would just go bloop and I would be done the deadlift because my arms would be like gorilla arms. They would be hanging towards the floor. Some of the NBA basketball players or MMA fighters with these crazy long arms. Huge advantage. You box and you're like 3 feet away and you can hit them. Long arms. These guys would be good at deadlifts. So when he bends over and gets into the position to pull the deadlift, he's in a great starting position. For me, every inch off the ground that the weights are, I can lift 20 to 30 pounds more. So if the bar was 4 inches off the ground, I can lift a good 100 pounds more. So by having 4 inches longer arms or even fingers, that's 100 pounds different. If this guy had my arms, his deadlift would be down at least 100, if not 200 pounds. Why? Because I have normal length arms. People used to make fun of me. You have T-Rex arms. That's why you can bench press so much. Short little arms that are manly. That's why you can bench, because you have short arms. And then I set the Guinness record for deadlifts. Oh, but that's because it's sumo and you have long arms and you don't have, the bar doesn't have to move. I'm like, which is it? I can't have short arms and that's why I can bench, and I have long arms and that's why I can deadlift. They're the opposites. If you have a great deadlift, you have a shitty bench. This guy deadlift 700 pounds at his best at 18, 675 at 17. His bench press barely 315, touch and go, cheating the weight, not count, not a good deadlift, not a good bench. He's deadlifting way, way more than double his bench press. My best bench in a meet is 529 and my best deadlift is like 690 something in a meet. That's not even close to double. If I could double my bench, it'd be 1,000 something and I'd be the best world record holder deadlift of all time, including Eddie Hall, who can't do 1,000 pounds in an official powerlifting meet. They use straps and they use bars that bend more, and at strongman, it's different. You can't say his 11 pound deadlift, whatever they've done, is the same as an official powerlifting meet, okay? Now, he has zero gyno. Zero. None. Does that mean he's natural? No. It just means that he doesn't have gyno. But if he did have gyno, that would be an argument in favor of him taking something. Does it mean he's natural or not natural if you have gyno? No. I'd be like, I have gyno and I use steroids. Great gyno when I was in puberty. I don't care. 5% of people will get gyno at puberty. So you only have a 95% chance that you're not natural if you have gyno. It doesn't mean 100%. It just means it's not likely. Sure, some people get gyno with being natural. Sucks. Get surgery. Spend the money. Next. This is where I really think he's natural. He entered an actual powerlifting meet. He didn't back away. He didn't say, I'm not just going to do gym lifts. He entered an official competition. USA Powerlifting, which is strict on drug testing. He entered a meet where he could get drug tested. Why would he enter a drug-tested meet when he could enter a non-tested meet if he's on steroids or SARMs or cheating in some form? If he was on something and he wanted to compete, he could enter a non-tested competition. When you enter in a tested competition, it doesn't mean you're natural, but it means that if you're tested, you have to be able to pass the test. So why would he risk failing a drug test at 17 when he doesn't have to? Because he's natural. There was no reason to. Now, let's look at his lifts. Age 17. He squats 474. That is a very good squat. Does it mean he's on steroids? No. Does it mean he's natural? No. What does he bench? 275 pounds. How's that? Not bad. That's pretty freaking good. It's a decent bench press. Is it as good as his squat? I'd rank his squat as more impressive. What about his deadlift? 606 pounds. That's very, very, very good. But as I described before, he's at a genetic advantage for the deadlift and a disadvantage on the bench press. That's why he's so good at deadlifts. Long arms. That's just how it works, okay? Shorter arms, he would be better at bench. So if he was to have a shitty deadlift, he'd probably be benching 350 and we'd be like, oh man, how does he bench so much at his age? It's just the genetics, okay? He tried to pull 655 and couldn't get it. Okay, it is hard in a competition. It's very strict. It's not like in the gym. So I always lift more in the deadlift in the gym than in a meet. It's just your grip slips and you can't use straps and it's just nerves, pressure. And you have to lift it and you can't hitch it. And so he lifts less in the meet. He almost got the 655, but not quite. So his lifts are pretty good. And I was like, man, those are big lifts. But I was honestly, I thought he was 165 pounds. I thought he was a small guy. I looked at his weight class, 231. I'm like, he's in the 105 kilo class? And then I see his official weight, 213 pounds. He must be very tall. 213. I wasn't 213 till I was like 35 years old on steroids. Like, I was not ever that big. So when I did my first powerlifting meet at 22, I was 148 pounds. So obviously, he's way bigger than me, not muscle-wise, but height and overall size. And trust me, mass moves mass. If you're a bigger dude, like if you're 6'9" and 300 pounds, you're gonna lift more than if you're 5'9" and 200 pounds. It's just you're bigger, okay? That's just how it works. So his lifts are a lot, but not as much as I expected once I found out his body weight and weight class. So he is a big dude. Like, he's competing against bigger guys. If he did that same lift, like 700-pound deadlifts, and he was only 165 pounds, it would be like, ooh, I don't know, natural. But because he's so big, it's not that impressive. So what do I think of him overall? I watched several of his videos in preparation for this, and I think he has an awesome attitude. He goes in the meet, he talks about how he did, and he messed up a few times. He just seems like a normal kid having a good time, training hard, and he's really strong, and I think he's awesome, okay? So I expect he'll get a lot stronger. He's only just turned 18. I've seen him deadlift 700 in the gym on videos, of course, and he's pulled crazy weights like 600 for 5, pause, like, you know, not touch and go. So he's very, very strong, and he's going to get stronger, okay? Now, in the bench press, you're like, well, why did he do 315 in the meet, in the gym, and only 275 in contest? And why did he only deadlift that much? And then, so maybe he was on something, and then he stopped before the powerlifting meet. I really don't think that's the case. The 315 bench was touch and go, bum off the bench, not proper. And so when you're in a meet and you have to hold the weight there for a second before lifting it up, it's a lot harder. So you're going to be weaker. Your bum has to stay on the ground. It's very strict technically. And so you're not as strong as you just show up in the gym. So anyone that's like writing comments like on David Lade's thing, oh, I'm 17 and I can bench 400. Yeah. All of you can just deadlift a car and throw a rock over the moon and back, and you can run the 40 in 4.1 seconds, right? We all know that because you wrote it down with no profile picture on your stupid account. We don't care what you can lift. The video on David Lade was not about out of the 150,000 people that view it, of course there's gonna be 20 that are strong, and those 20, all right, well, I did it. And meanwhile, they're doing it in the gym. They're probably squatting 6 inches above parallel. They're probably bouncing the weight on their chest and the spotter's lifting it. And the deadlift, they're probably hitching it or using straps. So like, yeah, you can brag all you like, but are you really doing it? Enter a meet like this guy, an official meet, get an official number, and see how strong you really are at this point. So, awesome. I say he's natural. He's not on anything. You can believe me or not. 1 in a million guys have genetics like this. For sure, they're out there. They're going to be strong. They're just going to be good. They're naturally able to do that. If he keeps going, he's probably going to deadlift 800 plus pounds and still be in the 231 weight class as a junior. Junior's like 23 and under. He's only 18. He's got 5 years. He can put on 20 pounds and get bigger and more muscle. And with those leverages, he'll be an 800 plus pound natural deadlifter. Who knows? Maybe someday he'll get He'll be like, oh, I'm stuck at 850. I can't deadlift anymore. I'm 30 years old. I'm going to take something now. Maybe take something, and maybe he becomes the world's best deadlifter. Maybe he beats Larry Wheels. He could. He might be that kind of potential. Will he ever beat me in the bench press? No. He doesn't have good bench press genetics. That's just not how it's going to work. But he'll have certainly a good squat and a deadlift. And guess what? To be a good powerlifter, the bench is not important. To be a good powerlifter, you need to deadlift a lot and squat a lot because those numbers are very much more important. They're higher numbers. Anyone who's a big deadlifter is going to have a big total. The bench press is really not that important. Okay? So that's it for this video. I'm wrapping it up. Click the subscribe and bell button so that you're alerted. Get the swoosh notification fireball. GregDoucette.com for coaching. Greg Doucette, IFBB Pro on Instagram. Please follow me there. Watch one of these 2 videos because they're good. You might like one of the 2. Just pick the one that's better and watch it. And until next time, I'm out.